We are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our fourth season, episode 23 of Mind and Money Matters live show, Mastering the Science of Business. And we are in the month of June featuring the Ministry of Arts and Culture. And we have an amazing lineup for you this evening. In us, we are here, students as well, learning from those who are practicing the science of business, understanding that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us in Message to the Black Man that in the original charter of Howard University, which is the first HBCU, and we assume that they all follow suit, that we are never to be taught the science of business, the science of warfare, which the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us is business, and the science of birth control, which includes the science of mating. So there is no wonder why we have deficits in those areas, the science of business, the science of warfare, and the science of mating. So we want to bring to you in Mind and Money Matters live show that science coming from those who are actually in business and learning by trial and error as well as study to get that science of how we can avoid the pitfalls and benefit from the wisdom of their success. So without further ado, we want to bring to us our dear brother Jahid, Mr. Communicator Muhammad. He is our very own logo file, as Sister Sandy refers to him. He is that human GPS fact finder, organizer, personnel organizer, and trainer. He is the founder and CEO of Falal Worldwide Seminars and Training and Proper Propaganda Promotions for the Jahid with the Falal Worldwide word on the block.
Assalamu alaikum, business scientists. Welcome back. What's the sound like? How's the sound coming through?
Your mic sounds nice.
Alhamdulillah. Welcome to
I haven't said that in a long time.
Yeah, right. Been a while. I have to keep you on your toes. Keep you on your toes. Welcome to the definitive podcast for Black business bodaciousness, and we definitely have an action and an information-packed episode for you tonight. So please hit the share button. Let everybody that you know that it is on, that to come and watch it. We have some history makers with us tonight. We have some business people in the field of arts and culture that are going to be on tonight. So make sure you listen, like if you like it, comment, share, and subscribe. Mind and Money Matters live show page on YouTube and at Mind Money Show on Facebook, so you can stay abreast of this dynamic information that we're able to get to you by Allah's grace from some of the most brilliant minds among us. I wondered if, I apologize, Sister Sharien, for hesitating. Are any of our guests on yet?
No, sir.
Nobody, not I'm sure. Okay, because I didn't want to. I was going to go into a piece, but I didn't. With who we have on tonight, I want to give them the utmost in time to talk about what it is that they talk about tonight. However, we do know that every week this segment starts out with the final call, y'all. The new issue, the latest issue of the Final Call newspaper, Disaster, Destruction, and Divine Judgment. Make sure you get your copy of the Final Call newspaper, that you subscribe. You have several options to subscribe. One of them is by going to Final Call Digital, finalcalldigital.com. You can subscribe, and they were running a promotion for only 99 cents.
Really?
For 1 month. Yes. You had to be new. You had to be a new subscriber. Okay. I was trying to think, okay, should I change my name? But no, I just keep my subscription just like you have yours, which is still only like $5 a month for a subscription, online subscription, digital subscription to the Final Call newspaper.
How bright it looks online.
Oh, yes. They put a lot of work behind making sure that not only is the paper full of information, but it's also visually pleasing as well, with the colors, the vibrant colors, and all of those
And then I
things that
see, I
go
see a
into.
mic here. Is it now? It actually reads for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Wow.
that's a new
Yeah,
that's a
I didn't.
new
When I
technology.
shared,
Wow. Okay.
I didn't
Okay.
share the actual sound.
All
Tornadoes,
right.
severe storms, and flooding ravaged America from coast to coast as proof of God's divine judgment against America as outlined in
So you
Scripture and
can
as taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. America is being chastised for her atrocities against the black descendants of slaves and the indigenous people which the country has annihilated. America can atone and be saved.
Fast moving, quick thinking, clean inside and out, right down to the modern time. So Final Call Digital. If you're here in the Atlanta area, or we have a Falah Worldwide has a local subscription. 8 weeks, only $10. We bring it to your office or your home within a 30-mile radius of downtown Atlanta for only $10. Only $10. 404-438-3156. You can call us and begin your subscription for 8 weeks, which is 2 months, for only $10. We deliver it to your home or office anywhere within a 30-mile radius of downtown Atlanta for only $10. Paper and gas and sweat and all of that good stuff included in the $10 for only 2 months. Or if you're in any of the locations around the metropolitan area, 3642 Camilton Road, the Southern Regional Headquarters of the Nation of Islam, under the divine teachings of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, you can come by there and pick up your papers. 3642 Camilton Road, Southwest Atlanta, right over there in Ben Hill. If you're on the east side of Atlanta, you can go to the Black Dot Cultural Center, downtown Latonia, the Black Dot Cultural Center and Bookstore, and pick up your copy of the Final Call newspaper. If you're in Southwest Atlanta, you can go by Cafe Ulu. And mind you, all of these places that we're mentioning are Black-owned businesses that we support, that Master the Science of Business support, as well as they support us. Cafe Ulu at 2036 Sylvan Road, they carry the Final Call newspaper. If you're on the south side of town, going toward Fayetteville and Clayton County, you can go by Georgia 138 and Highway 85. And the Clayton County Study Group is out there every day from 11 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. with your latest issue of the Final Call newspaper. So you can see any one of us, any FOI, MGT that's in your sphere of influence, they will be carrying the Final Call newspaper. So make sure you get your copy. And then number two, this is the beginning of the month. Go ahead and make your 35 cents a week, $1.40 a month, 5 cents a day contribution to economicblueprint.org. Economicblueprint.org. Only 5 cents a day, brothers and sisters, to contribute toward our liberation, the Black nation here in the hills of North America, to contribute to our liberation so we can buy land, and other resources that are needed in order for us to continue to be a sustainable and viable community. And Sister Sharien, I got one last tidbit of information. No, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this for last. But I have 4 ways to market your small business for less than $100. But you got to wait till the end of the broadcast. I'm gonna share some strategies with you. So all you business people out there, you have a small business and you have a very, 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 very limited budget, like 99% of us do. We're going to share some tips and techniques with you on how to market your small business for less than $100 so you can begin to see the return on your investment. So that's it from Falah Worldwide. We had changed the name of this segment, and both Sister Sharien and I forgot about it. So we reverted back. We reverted back to our old ways. So we'll remember the name of this segment next week. Come up with something real new and fresh for you. So, you all hear her voice at the beginning of every show. She is the face of Mind and Money Matters live show. She's the producer. She's where, like, you see her headpiece on now, but it's actually like 27 different hats, which is what a God does, able to take care of all types of responsibilities. So from agrichild.com, the nation's most prolific children's book author and publisher, one that has experience. She's not talking just from a textbook perspective, but from real life experience as a mother, as a grandmother, as a counselor, as one who's in the community involved with youth and carrying out her mission to make sure that the next generations do not fall for the okie doke like previous generations may have fallen for the okie doke. Sister Sharien Muhammad, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir. Praise be to Allah. You know, as we are focusing on the children at agrichild.com, we just want to give you an understanding of what happens when you actually focus on the children. I had the blessed opportunity of hanging out with my grandchildren yesterday, and what an amazing time we had together. And just to watch how they are flourishing because their parents are actually focusing on them. They're happy, they're excited, you know, so they're learning, they're growing. And that's the type of energy that we want to see in our children. We want to see them be excited. We want to see them learning and growing. We want to see them being able to follow instructions as well as to create. You know, I left my artwork. They drew artwork for me, and I left it there last night. I would display it today. So I have to display it next week. But one is 2 and one is 7, and they drew these beautiful pictures of a neighborhood, a playground, a house, and trees, and you know, it was interesting because as I said my short prayer and blowing out the candles, my granddaughter said, "I know what you were praying for. I know what you were wishing for." I said, "What?" She said, "For a happy family," and that's exactly. That was my exact prayer, for a happy family. I asked her, how did she know that? She said, because everyone asks for that. So when you give your children love and you focus on them, they know that they are important and they are contributors to the family. And as adults, we are working feverishly to ensure that we leave something behind. You know, not just bills, but benefits, as our dear brother Rick Mathis has coined the term benefits, not bills. That's what we are encouraged to leave for our children, benefits, not bills. So, Brother Jahi, in this month of June, arts and culture, you know, what has been the most fascinating thing you have discovered in your amazing research of arts and culture? I know for me, it has been all about Brother Nipsey Hussle. I mean, he has done a phenomenal job in making sure that he left a legacy for his children, for his neighborhood, for his community. Most of us didn't know anything about him. And those who did, some of them kind of took offense. You know, it felt like, you know, where were y'all when he was here? I mean, you know, if I knew he was there, I may have paid attention, but I didn't know. So no disrespect to those who have had the blessing of being present when he was amongst us and alive and well, you know. But those of us who came to know him afterwards, what we learned from him, we learned that we should have no fear, that we should go and we should work hard. You know, I recently heard that for the last 3 months, that the last 3 months of his life, that he decided not to watch television, that he focused his attention on reading and studying and watching documentaries. You know, I saw an interview with him talking about he watched the documentary, or several documentaries of Bob Marley, and he always saw his children around in the background. And so he decided that he wasn't going to leave his children at home, that he was going to bring his daughter with him, and that he was going to change the environment of the studio so that his daughter would not be exposed to adult-like activity that she would learn business and also have the cultivation and learn and the guidance from her dad. So I pray that Allah blesses her because her dad was taken from her in such a short time. But I pray that Allah blesses her to be able to grow in a positive way, even in the absence of his dad. It seems like she has a strong family. So I pray that Allah blesses them to stay strong in the midst of all this turmoil, that she will still be a positive influence to our community. Our dear guest is on, Brother Jahi, Brother Sham. So if you want to bring him in.
Salam alaikum. Thank you, Sister Sharien, for pointing that out. You know, this is the Ministry of Arts and Culture that we're highlighting this month, and the brother Nipsey Hussle, born Ermias Ashdam, was an absolutely phenomenal brother. I know, like I think a lot of us, I know everybody in my circle, for the most part, we didn't know the works of the brother prior to his being murdered on the streets of Los Angeles. But ever since then, we have been doing extensive study of him, and he was doing the work. He was doing what the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been teaching us and imploring us to do. He was one of those that was actually doing it. So big salute to him and to his family, and also friends for carrying on the torch. So this month, as we do in every June since we've been doing this podcast for the last 4 years. We always dedicate the month of June to the Ministry of Arts and Culture. And I mean, there's so many phenomenal people among us in our communities that are doing great things in this ministry, especially tying it into business. That's one of the roots of what we want to highlight with this program, is to show the underlying business connections to all of the nine ministries. So if you're not familiar with the nine ministries, go into your search engine, type in nine ministries of the Nation of Islam, and you get a chance to see it's actually 10 ministries. These are the ones that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan shared with us or gave to the world in 2005 uh, at the 15th anniversary of the Million Man. I'm sorry, 10th anniversry,
That's right.
2005.
The 10th anniversary
10th
of the
anniversary of the Million Man
Million
March.
More Movement.
Oh, that was called, yeah, Millions More Movement in 2005. So to show us what it takes in order for us to operate as a government, and the Ministry of Arts and Culture, you got to have arts and culture. As it reads, and I'm straining to look at it because I don't have my glasses on, and Sister Serene got it in six font. The Ministry of Arts and Culture is the promotion of aesthetic, artistic, and cultural expression in ways that facilitate mental, emotional, and moral upliftment of the members of society. It includes visual and performing arts, including but not limited to music, film, dance, drama, literature, poetry, visual arts, and sports. It includes promotion of theater companies, audiovisual recordings, presentations, competitions, and compilations, and an annual Festival of the Arts. It extends to a wholesome sports culture for athletic competition and achievement. So that's what the Ministry of Arts and Culture is all about. So those of you who are watching or listening to this broadcast, please join one of the nine ministries or more of the nine ministries. Become involved. You can give us a call at 404-438-3156. You can call Master Science of Business at 404-438-3156, and we can point you in a direction so that if you want to join one of the nine ministries, we can let you know how to go about doing that. Very easy process. You basically just put your name and number on the dotted line and began to come to the meetings of the different ministries and began to participate. So that was my introduction because we have a dynamic brother. We have several on. This show is going to be, as I said, information and action packed. So in the realm of music, in the realm of especially hip hop music, we have one of the pioneers. He was very active on the business side, on the back end of a lot of the artists that we all grew up with, especially as old heads. So those of us that's older than 40, the people that we probably 45, the people that we grew up with listening to. One of my favorite groups of all time, of course, and favorite song is "The Message" by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. With that message, that was the song right there. As a matter of fact, it's listed as one of the top hip hop songs, top songs, not just hip hop, one of the top songs of all time. The Message. And our brother Shams, DaBaron, is
Macon.
Walaikum salam, sir. He was instrumental in working with those guys. As a matter of fact, Sister Sharien, he's working on having some of the members of the Furious Five on with us in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be legendary. Y'all remember Child is Born with No State of Mind.
Oh,
Blind
here we go.
God is smiling on
No,
you.
they came to my high school and performed. You know, I'm from
Get
New
out
York.
of here.
Yeah,
Get out of
yeah.
here. So
I went
our
to
brother,
Benjamin Franklin High School,
okay.
and they came plenty of
Wow.
times.
Wow.
Jay,
Wow.
Grandmaster Flash, you know,
Okay.
the Furious Five, all that.
Right.
I
So
was
our
I
brother
was in high school in the 70s.
in the
And,
70s.
and
70s.
yeah, yeah. You know, I don't have that book with me. I mean, I do have it. I could get up and get it, but it's How to Eat to Live. You know,
Man.
it's a beautiful, beautiful blessing. I had the blessed opportunity to be born from a woman, you know, who sacrificed her life to bring me forth yesterday, 55 years ago.
Happy born day.
And to introduce me to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad at the tender age of 1 month old. And so I have had the blessing of being exposed to that kind of teaching that has preserved my life. And I'm grateful and will shout from the mountaintops that there is no greater teacher. I have 5 degrees, and there's nothing greater than the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So we are excited to have you here on the show, Brother Shams, and look forward to what you will share with us about the science of business. I read your bio, my God. I said, you know, it's amazing how some of us, we ask for a bio, Brother Jahi, and we get a sentence.
Right.
You know, my name is.
Yeah.
Period. And I do. Period. But you
Absolutely.
gave us an extensive bio. I said, Brother Jahi, you're going to have to pick which one of these things you want to pick. Because this brother has done it all. Amazing. So, Brother Shams, welcome to Mind and Money Matters live show, and we look forward to hearing the wisdom that you have benefited from learning in your practice.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm honored to be among you right here. Appreciate it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, sir. And Brother Shams has also worked in the on the TV and film side
Yes.
as well. So he has a lot to share with us. So again, as Sister Sharien said, Brother Shams, welcome.
Yes.
Welcome to Mind and Money Matters live show. Honored to have you on. I don't know if it runs
on as well.
I don't know if it runs in your blood, Brother Shams, but your brother is also in the film industry.
Yes.
The great Raheem Shabazz, who we've had on the show. He did the documentary.
Okay.
He did the documentary Elementary Genocide.
Yes, 3 parts.
Which is a must-have, and everybody that's listening in your library, you must have that. Brother Raheem, who is Shams' brother, had documented how the education system has not been our friend.
That's right.
Friend to Black youth. We also, through your brother, I gotta give him thanks. Through him, we had the honor of having lunch with and meeting and hanging out briefly with Dr. Boyce Watkins of the Black Business School. Through him, through Brother Raheem, it was he put on an event here and had brought Dr. Boyce Watkins in, and we had a chance to sit down and fellowship with him from that point. So your family is just doing the doggone thing. What led you into working in the arena of music and in hip hop in particular?
Well, I come back from in the 70s. I grew up in the South Bronx, and in my particular neighborhood, we had a lot of the things that existed in the neighborhood, from the gang culture, that originated in the area where I grew up, which is the South Bronx. So I was fortunate that I lived in the same housing project of Raheem from the Furious Five, who at that time was, I knew him before he was a member of another pioneering group called the Funky Four. I don't know if y'all remember the Funky Four with the first, one of the first female MCs, which was Sha Rock.
Yes, she was the first female MC. Yes, okay.
That's right.
First one on wax, yeah.
Yeah, on wax, yeah, that's right. And they were the first group, the Funky Four, to be featured on a major TV show, which was Saturday Night Live. Well, Raheem is one of my mentors in hip hop. He's the original member of the Funky Four and also a member of the Furious Five. And, all of these guys were performing mostly with DJing and stuff like that. And one thing with me is that I'm younger than a lot of them. So I was one of the younger guys, younger MCs that was out there, first beginning b-boying, graffiti and stuff like that. And watching Raheem, what I admired about him was that he just came and he attracted so much attention.
Okay.
His style of MCing was a little different from some of the other guys that was coming up, in that he was real lyrical. Plus he had this rhythm and style to him that was, he had the attraction of all the ladies. Everybody loved him. And so
That'll do it.
Forget all this DJing and stuff. So I started originally by copying his rhymes and stuff, and then going in the park and replacing his name with my name. And he was actually one of the first guys that used to give me the mic and let me get on. And I was real little. I was, I believe, about 7 years old.
Wow.
So we would have been outside in them jams and stuff like that. Wow. But that's how it started. And I went on to, I moved out the area, and in the process of moving, I ended up becoming one of the original members of the Zulu Nation, not a founding member, but I started when the Zulu Nation was first growing. And that became like the cultural, the organization that kind of like promoted the culture, the different aspects of the culture, although it all always existed. But I was a factor in that, as well as just moving around and just, I would perform in different places. Back then it was parks, it was schools and house parties and stuff like that. Eventually became clubs, and then I navigated to putting out my own records and stuff like that. But it started in the 70s and grew from there.
Fantastic. If you all don't mind, please indulge me, Brother Shams. We have Brother Fadil with us.
Okay.
Brother Fadil Muhammad out of Macon, Georgia. He has a major event that he's doing this weekend, and he's in the midst of doing an event right now. So he's calling in. I want him to talk about this Juneteenth Festival that he has real briefly. Then we're going to get right back to you. Then we're going to bring up our brother Palmer Williams Jr. We may do a roundtable because both of you all are in this arts piece and doing phenomenal work in it. But Sister Sharien, please bring up Brother Fadil Muhammad. Is Phoenix?
I'm glad you said that, because I'm like, I
didn't know. See, he's in the midst of doing something now. One of the most committed brothers Brother Fadil, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
There you go. There you go. You may want to move that phone back a little bit. We see your chin.
Peace and blessings. How you feeling today?
Doing fine, sir. Can you move your phone back? We can't see you. We can't
Yes,
see you,
sir.
Brother Fadil.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. Salam alaikum, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome to Mind and Money
Walaikum salam.
Show. Yeah, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule. Like I was telling the audience, I know you're one of the most committed brothers in this arts and culture field. You got an event going on right now, but we thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come on and talk about the Juneteenth Festival. This is your 27th year of producing the Juneteenth Festival in Macon, Georgia. So give us a little bit of background about the Juneteenth Festival and what you got going on this weekend.
Yeah, well, we've tried to deal with the relevance of Juneteenth all across the South. The same situation happened everywhere that happened in Galveston, June 19th, 1865. That same year, April 1865, the same movement was coming through Macon, Georgia, with the Union troops breaking the Confederate stronghold and allowing enslaved Black people to come out of that, chattel slavery institution. So the park that we have Juneteenth in is actually where, in Macon, is actually where Macon was surrendered to General Wilson. And also it is a park in which Black people were forbidden to go in. And for a long time, until 1971, really, the civil rights movement finally got to Macon in 1971. And that is when Black people began to have the freedom to actually utilize Tatnall Square Park. So in honor of their struggle, in honor of that history, we have the Juneteenth Freedom Festival. We've had it since 1993 in that park, and it involves a week long of enriching activities that hopefully will increase our consciousness, everything from Black history tours to all types of forums. We have a partnership with the Pleasant Hill Neighborhood Reunion, which is a historic neighborhood in Pleasant Hill, the same neighborhood that Little Richard came from, and
Wow.
John Oliver Killings, the Harlem Renaissance, came from, and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad at one time lived in. A lot of history in Pleasant Hill.
Really?
And so yeah, that's right. That's right. That's Macon, Georgia. Macon, Georgia is a hotbed of history, and it's the dark matter that creates the stars. The stars come out. You see the stars, but the dark matter is that part that you don't realize is making the stars. And it's a very hot and hostile area, hostile to the intelligence.
Wow.
but it's coming along, and
right, but in that
so
hostile
we're
environment,
doing that.
it's to look at that hostile environment. Look at what it has produced. You got the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as you say, lived in that area. Little Richard, the king of rock and roll, the inventor, the innovator of rock and roll, from Macon, Georgia. Otis Redding. Yeah. Oh, Lena Horne.
Yes,
I didn't
sir.
know she was from down that way. We're talking middle Georgia, brothers and sisters. Wow, okay. And then Macon is also home to the Georgia Music Hall of Fame, right?
It was.
Okay.
We lost it, and
I didn't know
there's
that.
a lot of real complex and ridiculous circumstances that led to that, but the struggle continues.
Oh, yes, sir. Okay. So you're doing your 27th Juneteenth celebration. And that's this weekend,
Yes.
June the 15th.
Yes, Tatnall Square Park, and we culminate in the park, the whole week's of activities. We're having a forum on mental health on Friday, on that 14th. We're dealing with films right now. I'm at Rosie Jackson Center, where we're showing a film called Bosch on Black entrepreneurs, and we're doing movies in the hood every day this week. We're doing, films, documentaries in the Black neighborhood, in the recreation centers. That was all that noise you heard. I was trying to get past all that. And then, of course, we do.
That was the sweet sound of
A lot
education.
of
That was the sweet sound of education.
That's right, man. That's right, my brother. That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. But it's and at the festival, I should say that there's a lot of entertainment. Jazz, hip hop, reggae, gospel. We're going to do a tribute to the Black churches this year. 27 Black churches. We're going to honor, God willing, this Saturday. Historic Black churches that started before the turn of the century and that are still serving the community. We have lots of different kinds of, performing arts. We have Terry Axum Austin, Ajile Axum out of Atlanta. We borrow heavily out of Atlanta. I get a lot of Atlanta talent down here. And the sisters, she's really started in Macon with Women Hold Up Half the Sky and her Kaumba Art Studio in the 1980s. And she's an Atlanta native, but she comes down every year. And she's one of the anchor performers in the festival with her dances, African modern dance. They're going to do some tap dancing this year, which is an African art form. So we have a hip hop summit. We kicked it off with a hip hop summit on June 7th, Real Talk. So we just try to touch all the different aspects of the community, the youth, the elders, people of all different backgrounds, people of different religions, and try to bring everybody together to learn about our history and to appreciate the struggle and to take on with a renewed mindset the challenges of the present, our responsibility to our ancestors to take it on to the destiny, which is liberation and redemption.
Beautiful, beautiful. That sounds great. So, all of you that in the sound of this podcast, make your way to Macon, Georgia this weekend, June the 15th, even early, because as Brother Fadil said, they're having events every day. Now, I'm very interested in that movie or that documentary that you're showing tonight called Boss about Black entrepreneurship. That is fantastic. Yeah. So real quickly, what's the gist of that documentary?
It basically shows the history of Black entrepreneurs, the power of Black people in business, the need to be in business, the need to, and how that was a vehicle to freedom, a vehicle to a greater ability to shape one's own reality in the world, and the ingenuity historically coming up out of slavery, the ingenuity immediately to start to build our communities, to build newspapers, to build whatever the needs were, being productive and being fulfilling everything that we needed as a community. That's what it's about. And then it goes into, well, what happened with integration? What happened with us starting to get shut out? And then it looks at the ingenuity of people like Jay-Z and some of the modern hip hop artists, what they have to do, being locked out of the mainstream to be viable and to make it to the top. So it's a new documentary that's out. It came out on PBS. Excellent documentary that everybody needs to see. We'll be inspired by it, and we've got lots of others that we're showing this week as well.
Oh, fantastic! Well, thank you, sir. I know you got to get back to your event, to running the event, and we definitely got to have you on again because we talk about the business aspect of arts and culture on this show, and we would definitely like to pick your brains about what it takes to put on a festival and to have put it on successfully for 27 years. That is phenomenal. That is spectacular. So we would definitely.
Do we have a table at this event, Brother Jahi? Is this in Macon?
This is in Macon. So you have the producer.
We would welcome you to have the table.
Wonderful.
All right. There's your answer, Sister Sharien.
I would love to come and set up and give them a little agri-child.
Yeah, Brother Fadil, Sister Sharien is a children's book author, not just she's the nation's most prolific children's book author. She has I Am the Seed of Greatness and Little Sweet Khadijah, her first two books in her children's book series. And also, Che, you will appreciate this. She has a son that is a graduate of Morehouse College.
Okay. Okay.
So y'all have something in common.
Well, consider it done. Come on.
Yes, sir. I would love. I would love.
We would love for her to come through. We start at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and the festival runs until 9:30 p.m. Welcome to come down and get involved. Give me a call. Let's do it.
Okay.
So, brother Fadil, for those that are interested in attending the Juneteenth celebration, is there a website that they can go to, or a phone number that they can call to get more information?
Well, certainly, they can call 478-718-8067. And we do have a website. It's Juneteenth Macon. And just, go hit that and should be able to bring up. It's a pretty minimal website. We just got it launched for this year, but it has the basic information, and certainly 478-718-8067. The festival is from 1 to 9:30 p.m. on this Saturday. It's going to really get cranking up about 2:30. And so we got vendors, we got food, we got accessories, art, and then, of course, tremendous performing arts. So definitely come through and enjoy yourself, and as well as a lot of information. And that's it right there. You just pulled it up.
Yes,
pulled it
sir.
up.
Beautiful, beautiful. Will Allah's be performing?
Oh, he got muted.
He got muted. Okay.
Say that again, sir. You were muted for a second. Brother Fidel. Is he speaking?
Okay, there you go. Can you hear us?
All right. I hear you.
Yeah, you were
I
muted.
was asking. Yeah, if you said anything, we didn't hear you. I asked if Allah's be performing.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes,
you
sir.
All,
he will.
All,
he's gonna make a brief appearance.
Okay. You all must check out Allah's, aka formerly known as Allah's Apprentice, dynamic wordsmith and an artist. Oh man, I think he performed in Atlanta a couple of times at a few events here in Atlanta. Yeah, just come full of energy.
Sir.
So that's a treat in itself. Allah's Apprentice, aka Allah. Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much again. Much success on your on another dynamic event, and please keep us posted for other things that you have going on in the community, and we definitely looking to support and as well as have you back on our platform to do our part in helping to get the word out about it.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. Alhamdulillah. Praise be to Allah. Thank you for the opportunity.
All praise is due to Allah. There you go, brother Fadil Muhammad.
Are you showing any movies
All right.
on Saturday?
All right, brother.
Are you showing any movies on Saturday?
Are we showing? Not Saturday.
Not Saturday.
Not Saturday. The last one's gonna be Friday. We are rising. Tell them we're rising. It's about HBCU legacy. So yeah, but we got some great ones leading up, but you got plenty of stuff going on Saturday. You'll enjoy it.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes,
Inshallah, you come down.
Inshallah, yes, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All praises due to God. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you, my brother.
All right.
Brother Jahid,
Yes. I told you all this is an action and information packed show. So our co-host, Sister Sandy Buford Muhammad, has joined us. Very hard-working, very enterprising sister. She's the ergokinesiologist of the group. There she is, Sister Sandy. You like to say a few words?
No, I've enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward, Sister Sharien, to seeing you and Macon, and I'm gonna definitely do my best to come by and check everything out too. I'm really, really excited about that. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. So Sister Sandy, I must say this about Sister Sandy. Sister Sandy is, as Brother Jaheed referred to her as, is the, I just have 5 degrees. I really don't have the vocabulary. He calls her ego, what you call her? Ego what?
Not ego, ergo.
Ergo custodiologist.
Ergo kinesiologist, yes.
You heard how I chopped that up? Ergo, what is it again?
Kinesiologist.
Kinesiologist. Okay, I got it, y'all. It's an ergo kinesiologist. But guess what? I had the opportunity to experience her hands on me yesterday. Now this girl does Reiki. She does Reiki. Oh my God. So if you wondering why Sister Sharien is not so like today, it's because I was with Sister Sandy yesterday. She leveled me out. She had me snoring, and then I'm like, oh my God, I hear myself. Yes, this girl is absolutely phenomenal. So if you have the opportunity to get in one of her Reiki workshops, you will definitely not be disappointed. She will get you even out your spirit, your energy, have you tapping into that which you have been destined to do, that you hesitating on. Oh, she's gonna get you moving. She got me moving, y'all. Look how I just asked for the table just like that. And the brother was like, sure enough, you could come. I'm gonna be there, inshallah, with all my products. And Sandy's gonna come along. I'm Brother Jahi, are you coming? We leaving you behind.
Inshallah.
He get the Reiki.
Inshallah.
He get the Reiki, y'all. He answered like he hesitated, then come out like boom. I'm gonna.
Yeah, you asked me that on the spot without me looking at my calendar. You know, I operate off of a calendar.
That would be beautiful. I hope to see you all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to get back to the film.
All right. Thank you, Brother Fadil.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we just do.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Good to see you on Saturday.
Okay. Inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
All right, let's do this because we have such powerful and dynamic people on the show. And I know from my knowing them and conversations with them, Brother Shams and our next guest have some things in common. So I want to do sort of like a round table discussion. So brothers and sisters, business scientists of Mind and Money Matters live show, I had to pay this brother a whole lot of money in order to in order for him to clear his schedule, his busy schedule to be with us this evening. I had to promise him money. I had to promise him luxury, good homes, friendship,
and all walks of life.
And a whole bean pie. And a whole bean pie. You see him on stage.
You lying on TV. You lying on Islamic air.
You know the voice, you know the face. You just saw him in the movie Little with Regina Hall and Issa Rae and a few other some somewhat known celebrities. He was the star of the movie though. He stole the scene. You've seen him on stage. You've seen him on stage in almost every play that Tyler Perry has ever done. He's also been on several TV shows. He was on the House of Pain, and as well as what was it, Love Thy Neighbor? I think it is. Please welcome you saw him on a few years ago. You saw him also on Family Feud. Where he and his family on Family Feud, and he missed some of the easiest questions. I'm like, bruh, how you gonna?
But he's like, how you gonna do me like that, bro?
Right.
He's like, serious, yo.
Hey, look, but we still got that check though, cause we won in the end. See that right there? That'll preach right there. Sometimes you may have the wrong answers along the way, but as long as you win the war, you may get a couple of punches in on the fight, but as you win the war, then it's all good.
So did you win? Did you win the war, brother?
Yes, ma'am.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, sir. Well, welcome.
I missed it. So I'm gonna have to go back and catch the rerun. Which episode? Which number?
I don't even know. I think it's the game show channel, or some of the reruns on the Family Feud. So it comes up. It's so funny because all of a sudden I get like group text and get Facebook and Instagram hits when the show comes on, because that's when I know it's on. I usually catch it about halfway through because they'll tell me. I say, "Oh man, I'm not even
right."
So now,
but you'd be surprised.
When they tell you, you have to tell us.
Okay.
When they tell you, you have to tell us.
He say he's too busy for all of that. Now, the only question I have now that you said this, brother, welcome Palmer Williams Jr. The question: have you spent all the money? Can a brother get $10?
That was probably within 2 days. Yeah. That's
What you spend it on? Did you?
I don't.
What, you bought a cup of coffee?
No, I don't like paying on bills. I'd rather pay them off. You know what I mean?
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
All right. He wasn't
I can't stand interest and late fees. It's just
okay.
You might as well just go ahead and take the money you pay in late fees and just shred it. It's the same feeling.
Business tip, brothers and sisters, business scientists. That is a business tip. Take it from one who's in an industry that you have to basically live like that. Brother Shams, Palmer, longtime what I will say, employees, businessmen operating in that entertainment arena. And as we know, just from a cursory viewpoint of the entertainment business, it is a tough business to be in. You really have to have some thick skin. You have to be able to accept rejection, keep a smile on your face, and keep moving. So my question to both of you all, just on that mindset, how do you do it? How do you do it?
I'm gonna let Brother Shad say something, because he probably had enough time to go and wash clothes. He done cleaned up a couple of rooms since he been waiting. He done gone and look, he done run to the store and everything. Because if you notice that the light switch behind him is a little further off than what it was before, because he done been gone and used the bathroom, everything. Right? Is that a different shirt you got on, brother? I think
I went and changed.
Hey, matter of fact, he clean shaven. He done shaved, took a shower. He got on his bed clothes. He ready to go to bed. Y'all done had him all the way down in Macon.
Hold on. I gotta say this.
And we got this sister that she ain't texting and driving, she viewing and driving. Oh, Lord.
I got to say this part. If I don't say nothing else during this show, our brother who is on the show with us today, he is truly, he is the same wherever you go. I had the honor. I sent you a picture, Sister Sharien. I was going to surprise him because Brother Jai, he got on me yesterday for my forgetfulness. Brother Palmer is the same all the time. We met him and his beautiful family at Fences. You remember that, Brother Palmer?
Yes.
And he was with his beautiful wife and children. His personality, he's got us cracking up like this, but this is his personality. For real, y'all. For real. And I just was so excited to remember we had you on the show before, and I completely forgot.
Yes,
but I'm not going to forget this time. Thank you so much, both of you, Brother Shams. I had the opportunity to speak with you on yesterday. I just had to say that this brother, this is him for real. For real.
I don't know no other way to be. I tell you, wait a minute. We better check on Brother Sham. He might be at the grocery store right now. I appreciate you, sister.
I want to change my shirt again.
Look, let's pan the picture back to him. He in Target. Thank you, sister. I'm so glad to have met you, and I enjoy meeting with you again. Your spirit is just so appealing, and when like-minded people get together and like spirits connect with one another, then it should be everlasting. So I
Yes,
appreciate
yes.
the compliments. And
Wonderful.
There's the picture. There's the picture. There's one of the pictures right there. We were with the cast. My mom was just bugging you to death and asking you all types of questions, like she
tell
does.
your mama to cash
And
at me $25.
I am going to have her do that.
That pic costs money, don't
Yeah.
And then there's my sister with you, Brinka. Yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful time. And it was a play that it didn't get as many reviews, but to see the people that came out and supported that,
Very,
it was just beautiful. And
very
then
diverse. It was very diverse.
yes, 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 yes. We had a phenomenal time. We really did. So, okay, so I'm gonna stop talking. We're gonna go on with the show.
No, this is beautiful, and this is the part that we want people to see. I asked about how do you maintain your sense of purpose and self with all the rejection. I know a little bit about what both of you what both of you have shared with me about your sojourn in your particular craft. So I want Shams to share a little bit about your journey through the hip hop world, and Brother Palmer shared with me a story the other day that was so uplifting. I definitely want you to share that about how you wound up working, doing all these plays with Tyler Perry, with Tyler Perry Studios and other things. So, Brother Sham, working through the trials and the tribulations of being in the entertainment business.
Well, being so young, coming up in the 70s, most of what we did in the context of hip hop was we were self-starters. So of course, we've been influenced by our parents and the different things that we've seen, but even things from plugging, jacking the electricity from the street lights. These different things that we did was more so because whatever was going on and we didn't have access to, we just found creative ways to do it. So if you're looking at from that same spirit carried on as we navigated into the entertainment industry and when it became a little more commercialized, we, at the same time, a lot of us felt like, hey, and this is just was one of my primary things, which was, well, if the industry is structured in this way where you have to do this or do that to get access, or you have to know this person or know that person, or maybe it's just it costs too much. Recording back in that days was a ton of money. So a lot of us, we just, instead of being looking at it from the perspective of, if we go here, we're going to be rejected, we just found a creative way to do it ourselves. So that's more so in the context and spirit of hip hop that we kind of existed in. And that's not something new. A lot of people see the entrepreneurs and the successful people today, and they think that this is a new thing in hip hop, and it's really not. The essence of hip hop is basically rooted in that same do for self philosophy, or that fearless or courageous or creative philosophy, and that's more so what it was for us, as opposed to a fear of rejection, a spirit of where you might be, where you might feel like you can't do this, because you don't have the money, or whatever the case is. There are songs that are $1 million songs that were made off of very, very primitive, cheap equipment. A lot of the early songs were made off of very cheap equipment in very primitive ways. And some of these songs are some of our iconic songs. But imagine,
Wow.
we were scared because we couldn't make the right demo, or we couldn't meet the right quality criteria, stuff like that. And then
Gotcha.
in entertainment or performing, just performing, going in the park, and you have maybe 1,000, 2,000 people out there. Back in them days, we had a term it was called behind the ropes. When you had the big equipment out there, there was always ropes surrounding it. And there's probably some big guys that was, if you didn't have you wasn't getting behind the rope. So just to actually, let's say I'm 7 years old and these guys are teenagers and I'm trying to get on that mic, which was the ultimate goal. And I'm walking up to these big guys saying, hey, listen, I want to rhyme, I want to MC. And they looking at me like, yo, ain't you supposed to be home, baby, past your bedtime? But that took a sort of, I didn't know if I was going to be rejected. At times I did get rejected, but you build up the right relationships, you know, sometimes performing at that right venue, that right park, so to speak, on the right equipment. Those are things that I had to take into consideration. We got DJ Eminem, Theodore, Me Jean, we got Flash, all these great people of that time period were performing. You wanted to get on that set. So you had to be courageous enough to go and be able to talk to them so they let you on. And once they let you on, you also had to deliver.
Had to bring it. Yeah.
Back in them days, you know, if you didn't have what it takes, then you would know immediately, because if they would either throw you out of there from on the other side of the ropes, or they would shut the mic off, or just different things where it was just like, you know, how that thing goes in the Apollo.
Yes.
That was live. That was every park house party or whatever. So you, back in them days, you really had to earn your chops, and it didn't always work out the right way, but you just had to keep going. So that was an early perspective, but it carries on to me, and from my perspective, to even today, you know. And the key with being an entertainer or business person is just not to give up, you know, to keep going.
Yes, sir.
And understand that rejection is part of the process.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Brother Palmer, you share with me a story about what led you, how you wound up on stage and on TV with one of the most prolific persons in the entertainment business today. You mind sharing that story with the business scientists?
Not at all, not at all. But I want to say to Brother Sham, I say, you know, it's so funny. You echoed a lot of things that I have said to a lot of the different youngsters that are coming up, and just the idea about the rejection and stuff, and it ministered to me as well, because, you know, even in the midst of doing 2 TV shows and about 6 or 7 stage theatrical productions with Tyler Perry, and then doing 2 of my own touring that I did even before being with Tyler Perry, and then, you know, touring with Monica, LSG, Keith Sweat, and things like that. It's still, to this very day, is a constant grustle, I like to call it, which is basically grind and hustling. And because just hustling by itself, they've given it such a negative connotation, because hustling sounds illegal.
You better trademark that.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, so it is now copywritten as of right now. You know, the crazy.
You heard it
part
first on live,
you know,
the Money Matters live show. So don't even try it.
Right.
That's
business tip number 2. Yeah.
So,
trademark everything. Okay.
Exactly,
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Because when you're grinding, a lot of times, a lot of people don't understand this. And I'm a good old country boy. So if you grind on something long enough, you'll actually grind it down, or you'll make it smooth. So if you grind long enough, if you're doing the right type of grind, you got the right grindstone that won't wear out on you, then you'll smooth out any of those obstacles that are in front of you. So
wow.
That's what, you know, if people really look at the sense of what grinding is, and then what people talk about is their passion, because passion, the root words are love and pain. So sometimes you'll have to go through a lot of pain to do what you truly love to do. But the thing that happened for me that actually got me onto Tyler Perry Studios, I was actually dancing and doing liturgical dance at church. Now, mind you, I'm not that dude when it comes to like modern dance and all this flexibility, and, you know, because I got 2 hamstrings that tell me, don't do that if you don't want to be laying down. So then I went and I was like very apprehensive about doing it. I had just been fired from a volunteer ministry at church. Now that takes a special brother to get
Fired from a volunteer ministry.
How you get fired from a volunteer ministry?
Hey, that's like being fired on your day off, right?
Right, exactly.
Fridays. How you get fired on your day off?
Ironically, that happened to me in Knoxville, Tennessee. But that's another whole story. Anyway, so I go in there and I don't want to do this dance because I was saying people are gonna laugh at me. They know me for comedy and all that sort of thing. So I looked at a tape of an interpretation of it, and that we were going to do it differently. So we went ahead and did it, and this young lady was dancing with me. So I went to the viewing of it, and it brought me to tears. And it was actually having Jesus to protect this little girl, and he was dancing with her and trying to keep her from all the pitfalls of the world. And so that was a stretch in itself, having me playing Jesus. So here it was now. I'm there, I'm doing this, and I'm complaining about the gas money because I have it, and I still have it to this day. I was driving today, my 2001 Ford F-250 diesel truck. Diesel was
Good God Almighty.
Diesel was $4.98 a gallon.
That's a house on wheels. That's like a mobile home.
Pretty much can pull a house down. It's a work truck for real. Because I also have a landscape business. That's another whole story. I'll call back for another time on that side.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as things progressed on, and I was having to drive all the way to New Birth, where I was driving from Marietta to New Birth every rehearsal twice a week.
God, that's a long drive.
Well, at the time I was living in Ackworth, so it was 56 miles away one way.
Wow.
So I was, spending somewhere in the close range of about $75 to $100 a week in just gas. So, and when you're working for ministry, a lot of times it's free. So I was disgruntled, and I was like, man, I can't believe I'm up here working for this volunteer ministry again after they done fired me. I just found every excuse to be disgruntled. And it was almost as if God had to bite his own lip to keep from cussing me out, saying, like, if you don't sit your butt down somewhere and just wait, you are 2 minutes away from the promise.
Look at that.
So as I went and they did the performance or the ministry that day, just before we got ready to go on, everybody was talking about Tyler Perry's here, Tyler Perry's here, Tyler Perry's here. So I'm stretching in the back. It's like, oh, I'm finna dance for real now. I'm finna do some extra leaps, and they're gonna think I'm ready for the Olympics by the time I get through with this, right? So I'm up here doing all this, and you know what was so crazy?
10 seconds of stardom.
You ain't know? So all of a sudden, God arrested my spirit, and he said, don't dance for him, dance for me.
Woo.
And I went out there and I did the dance, and the church was torn up. It didn't. Bishop Long was still alive then, bless his heart. And he actually, he couldn't even preach after that. All he had to say a couple of words and it was over. Man, I sat up there, and the next day I was sitting in my truck, that same truck. And one of my buddies, we call him Computer Shack, Marshawn Jones. He's big old 6'8" dude. And he was out, helping me work with the landscaping. He said, hey man, somebody from Tyler Perry Studios called you and said you have an audition tomorrow at 11 or 1. Which one do you want? And I'm like, yeah, right. Well, Marshawn ain't necessarily completely saved. So he was like, man, if you don't beep, and go ahead and beep and call these people back, I'm a beep, and all that, right? So I called them back. And at 10:15 the next morning, I went into the audition. Now, mind you, they said I had an audition at 11 or 1. They didn't ask me if I wanted to. They said, which one do I want? Because sometimes God will provide more than one option for you to be successful.
Wow.
And so here I am. I go in there, and at 10:15, I'm in the parking lot, and I say, Lord, if you just make me a good steward over this man's stuff, I know you make me Lord over my own. And so I went in there, and a 15-minute interview turned into an hour and a half. And later that night, about 8:35 that night, they called me and said, we want you to be on House of Pain. And I didn't want to do the dance. I complained about gas money. And that's why I always, say to a lot of people, like, grow not weary in your well-doing, for in due season you too shall reap if you faint not.
Wow, wonderful.
And so after all that was said and done, here I am, 15 minutes after the call, I hear something hit my door, like boom. I go out there, and there's 6 scripts for House of Pain. And I had 6 days before I had to start shooting.
So that's why you used to always ad-lib that stuff. You just make stuff up and just be funny and just like, okay.
Sometimes, I mean, I really don't even know what comes out my mouth. I really don't. And I just ask God to just continue to pour into me and just use me as a willing vessel.
Wow.
It's like I like to call it a anointed accidental comedy. So, it's like it just comes out like that.
We got somebody on our board like that too. Brother Jahir is the exact same way.
I think that's why we do you even know how we met?
No.
Hey, one day, we ain't got enough time today. Say something. He picked me up. This is before Uber. So, because he'll forever pick you up. He don't even care where you are. You could be on the street, he'll pick you up. But so I'm sitting up here, and they send car service for me to go to an event where I think we were honoring Bishop Eddie Long, as a matter of fact, wasn't we?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It was.
He detailed he and the rest of his brothers they actually had detailed where they were securing the facility and working with another lady. And so so we're going in there, and I'm co-hosting with Carl Payne, because he and I are good buddies. And so we sit up in there, and Brother Jahim picks me up in this light, I think it was a light blue Hyundai Sonata.
It was right.
So I'm thinking, like, I'm dressed to the nines, right? I'm like, I'm getting ready to go and get it.
He's just like an MC.
He done called me and tell me I'm 15 minutes away. I'm 5 minutes away. I'm like, oh shoot. I'm getting ready to jump off in this thing. Man, he pulled up in that Sonata, and I looked, and I was like, I know you ain't here for me. And so, he's like, Brother Palmer, and I was in my spirit. I was like, oh no. I've been doing this for real. So not only that, and then he comes around, opens the door for me like this is a stretch limo. So he done pushed the seat all the way up on the dashboard to make sure I had room for my legs. I could have laid down in the back. Here I am, and we go to the event and everything. And so we do the event, and I'm waiting on my check. Can't find the person. And so me and Brother John, when we on the way home, we talk about, because both of us is going home.
You remember it was pouring down raining. It was pouring down raining. Both of us got burned. Yeah. Look, Sandy and Sharien, check this out. It was the exact same night as what was that, 2015, when we did Savior's Day locally. Y'all remember that? We were at college with Sister Sandy. You spoke that evening. Sister Sharien and I did a workshop.
That's the same evening that the three of us got together.
Absolutely. Yeah. But see, what had happened was the lady who produced that show, she dropped the ball. So one of the brothers that was working with her, he kept calling me. He was like, hey man, can you come do this? And I was going to blow him off because we were doing the workshop. It's okay, well, I can do it, but I'll be running behind. I made it to you like 2 hours late.
He was late. So, I was trying to be professional and trying to deal with my people. I'm like, look at this brother showing up 2 hours late. I'm like, I got to walk right in and grab the microphone.
Yeah, so they kept calling me. And I'm like, okay, I'm thinking they're going to find somebody else to do it. So when we wrapped up we had just got through listening because Sister Sharien and I did a workshop first. And then that afternoon, Sister Sandy was a part of a workshop. So I'm in there listening to it. And then they still blowing up my phone. I'm thinking, man, y'all ain't getting nobody else? So I said, okay, I'll do it. And so I go all the way up to Tennessee to pick this brother up, right?
It's Ackworth. It's close enough. So
what you like 9 miles from the Tennessee state line or something like that?
No, I'm a little bit further than that.
He can see Lookout Mountain from his house. He's that close.
It's a little less than an hour, I guess.
But anyway, then we go cross town to Tucker, where the event was held. And like he said, both of us got burned that night. So we both on the way back to his house crying. Like, man,
we were crying the blues. We weren't
Oh my God.
And so it's so funny, in the midst of something that was intended for bad, it ended up being something good.
Absolutely. And then what? A few months later, I see him. He's Palmer's a longtime volunteer at Hosea. So we see each other at Hosea, and always clicking and connect. As a matter of fact, we were together Martin Luther King Day, and he's on stage clowning because he's supposed to be co-MCing, but they got him handling security details with me, right? So he was like, okay, next time I'm gonna wear a suit and bow ties.
Just having a good time, because it's just
having a great time.
It's just and that's how we met. So we
met
in the midst of something that was supposed to be.
It's one of those unforgettable moments.
Definitely unforgettable, man. I needed that little money too, boy.
Me and you both. I'm like, I was like,
well, y'all able to gas up the Sonata.
Barely.
He had so many books and papers in the car. He may have had some of your children's books in there. I don't even know. Because I had enough time on that trip to have read everything.
That's right. He got the final call. You got the final call that night too.
Man, I was actually probably a part-time Muslim by the time I got home because of how many final calls was in the back. I thought I was gonna have to hand them out just to get home. I didn't know. I needed my official bow tie. You understand what I'm saying? Wait.
The beautiful moral of this story, Brother Jahi, you were obedient the same way our brother Palmer was. He didn't quite.
And that's the point. Absolutely.
You were obedient, and you didn't know this brother like how you know him now.
I didn't. No. I didn't know who he was until I get to his house and I knock on the door. And I'm looking, I know you. I didn't tell him that, but I'm like, that's that brother from TV. They didn't tell me who it was. They just go pick up this guy.
Being obedient.
Yes.
It was destined. It was destined that you all connect. Because
obedience is better than sacrifice.
Come on. Yeah. Oh, I keep getting the bow tie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Give him the bow tie. Brother Jahi, the next time you see Brother Palmer, please give him the bow tie.
You just got a bow tie.
Give him the bow tie.
You need the red one.
The red bow
wait a
tie.
minute. Hey, you know what? It would be red because I'm a Kappa too. So I love red.
All right now.
All right.
Get right on me. Give him the red. Give him the red bow tie, Brother Jahi. Wow.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
We often joke about, brother. I'm gonna say this and then I'll be done. We often joke about Brother Jahi. I mean, truly, Brother Palmer. Brother Jahi knows so many people, but you would never hear him being braggadocious. You would never. He is one of the most humble brothers that could have possibly have been there to pick you up. Literally. He knows so many people and so humble and can call in any favor that he so wished, but he's not like that. And so we often joke about him. When we started this show, him and Sister Sharien brainstormed it, and then they brought me on board. And I'm like, no, we finna do. Brother Jahi, we need you calling up all them people that you know, and at least to help make this program that we're desiring to do for the people, one that's entertaining, informative, and encourage our people to do for self. So thank you so much, Brother Jahi. I just got to give you
praises due to Allah.
You will never allow us to do it unless we do it impromptu like this. So
yes.
Well, I mean, hey, he's definitely the reason that when he calls, I try to do it, because he was asking me to do this next week, and I said, well, why not just do it this week? So because
that's what he said. That's what he said. I'm like,
his responses are yay and amen, and as well as the fact he's quick about it, and he's not new to this. He's true to this. I mean, this brother right here is.
Thank you, sir.
I'm in admiration of how humble you are and how diligent you are in your faith and in your being. Because when I see this brother, every time I see a detail of FOI, I'm like, I'm looking for him. I say he around here somewhere. He's around here somewhere with an earpiece in his ear or something. Or he's gonna have to walk out. And I'm gonna tell you like this. See, this is another reason why I couldn't be in the Nation of Islam, because you got to have good knees. Because y'all stand up there the whole time. Y'all standing up there. I'm like, man, I can't do that. I'd be the only brother in the Fruit of Islam that would have a cane, trying to secure something, you know. And I would turn it into like a kung fu cane or something, because that's the only way I can help you out.
Brother Palmer, I would tell you, as Brother Shams can tell you, all of the FOI have something very special and unique about them. So you may not have to be in the bow tie like Brother Jahid. You know, every one of us have a special and unique talent. So don't even worry about that. We got to.
He is FOI.
That's
he
right.
is FOI to his core, brother Palmer. He's doing it. He's doing it, making people laugh. He's opening up. Not just I like because the comedy, the humor. The reason I love humor is that it opens up people's minds, and you're able to drop seeds on them. You know,
you know what? It's funny you should say that, brother. It's funny you say it, because I always say that comedy is the tiller. And what happens is that you have to sometimes till up that rough ground of a person's heart.
Yeah.
And you have to till that up to soften it. And then once you soften it, then you're able to plant the seed within that soil and cover it up.
You hear that, Sister Sharien?
And then, you know, a lot of fertilizer might be thrown on you in your life. You know, a lot of stuff that you don't think that may be nourishing you, but it's continuing to help you, because that seed now, as it germinates, has to push through all that mess, all of that dirt, has to push through and continue to push through until it reaches the sun. And my son is the S-O-N. So here it is now.
Come on now.
You got to push through all of that in order to get to the point where you can truly grow, because now you have the radiance of the sun to help you to nourish and to be fruitful and multiply, and not only just in children, but in thoughts and in nurturing other lives, in the lives of children, and even some of us big children that are much older.
Right.
So we still have to be children of education and children of learning and having a thirst for knowledge, because that's where I think the paradigm shift is going to happen for our people, is when we start to learn about ourselves and stop hating ourselves. Because once you have self-love, then you are able to love somebody else. Because how can you love somebody if you don't love yourself? So once we learn how to do that, and we also know the process and to keep people from hurting us as a people, including ourselves to one another, we'll be in a much better place, because we are chosen.
That's right. All right. So minister, I forgot to mention minister in your title as well. Go ahead, brother minister.
Tried to get me to start a church. I said, no, I love too hard. I'd have to take all that home with me. No, I'm good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. From both of you all, the business side of this entertainment business, contracts. Where do we mess up in contracts? Where do we mess up at? Where do you see the biggest obstacles for us in dealing with the business side? For instance, what you're talking about, how we met. I didn't sign a contract with the folk. I was doing it on the strength of a friend. But even if the contract is signed, how do you ensure that you are getting paid fairly, equitably, and that you do get paid?
Brother Sham?
Well, you know, that's contracts is absolutely necessary in everything we do. And a written agreement, you know, because there's times when people say, well, we have a verbal agreement. If it ain't written, it don't exist. So, but when you talk about contracts, I deal with a lot of contracts, and one of the things that I do, it don't even matter the industry. Some people think that, well, this is a standard agreement. Well, all agreements basically have the same provisions. Every industry is not the same. So what I do is I research thoroughly the different codes that might be relative to a certain industry. Some of these things are updated and changed. Like if you're dealing with in the music business, they have certain changes made to copyright law or digital technologies and stuff that didn't exist when I first started and stuff like that, you know. So you got to constantly research and become updated on the different legalese and the different laws and stuff like that. That's first and foremost. Just as an artist, an entertainer, whatever, you have to do that and not rely, well, I got a lawyer for that. Sometimes a lot of us we have this mindset of saying it because it makes us look bigger. It makes us seem official. Nah, my boy takes care of that. I got an accountant, man. I don't deal with that. I want to focus on my craft, on my art. And so many of the people I've seen come up in hip hop that had that mindset and that used to brag like that, almost every one of them got robbed. So for me, it's just like you have to study these things yourself. You have to learn this yourself. And when you do get a contract, or you do have a lawyer draft an agreement, you have to understand what's in that. And having the contract is tied to also having negotiation skills, deal making skills, because sometimes, I've been in situations where I've been offered that standard agreement. This is the agreement that, well, this is standard. You're a new artist, or whatever the case is. Every artist gets it. When you, after a few years, a little success, then we can change this. No, every contract is negotiable, but you got to know what to negotiate. You got to know what's fair to you. And some things you can bend with, some things, well, let me not use the term bend. Some things you can be flexible with, and some things you're not gonna be flexible with. No, in the music business, and it's
right.
Yeah, just scratch that part out of this testimony.
Scratch that part out. But it's important to be versed in it, because this is really the foundation of everything we do. This is the difference between maybe us getting not just a quick paycheck or whatever money's being transferred at that particular time, but maybe there's some residual income to get. That's important to know that. Like, okay, well, look, in cases like this, I'm a screenwriter. And I'm just learning this and really doing the research, because I've been told for years that, well, screenwriters don't get residual income. They don't get points.
That's a lie.
I'm just learning this. I'm gonna let you go from there.
Oh,
yeah.
That was a good lateral. Let me tell you something. Residual checks are of God, because that mailbox money that you don't expect is such a beautiful thing. Like Brother Shan was saying, reading is fundamental. First of all, reading your contract and actually getting a contract, verbal contract. Forget about it. I don't care how good a friend. And this is how you remain friends, if you write it down. If you have a contract and you write it down, that's how you remain friends. Because you can fall out. We'll fall out over $5 and a neck bone.
That's right.
You have to be able to have something tangible that you can look at. Now, I've been burned quite a few times because on the strength of being a friend. And I'm so to the point now where I'm not trusting of anyone, but I don't want you to ever have the temptation to do me wrong. So therefore, we have to have a contract. So by having that contract to eliminate the temptation of taking advantage of the other one, that's what we have to do. I have a manager that is very well versed in contract negotiations, and he breaks it down for even the things that I have. I've actually taken business law in college and things like that, to where I understand some of the verbiage, but the verbiage does change over the years, like Brother Shan was saying. And once you get to a point where is anything below like a $5,000 range or something like that, normally you may be able to negotiate it yourself. But when it gets into the tens of thousands, and you start thinking about, okay, I want to have legal representation, and that someone that is specifically designed and trained in that genre. So I would not go and get an architectural attorney for a entertainment attorney's job. Just because your cousin Boo Boo that you grew up with and you trust him, that because he went to law school and now he's a defense attorney, that doesn't qualify him to be an entertainment attorney. So find the right legal representation, and that's finding representation in anything that you do in this business is what has to happen. Because if you don't, then you'll be taken. It's almost something that some people have been prideful of, to be able to go in and take advantage of people because they don't know any better. And if you don't know, you don't know. So find and seek wise counsel, just like you did, brother John, when you were talking about how you had to find somebody from wise counsel that advised a brother on how to do some things. Find wise counsel. There's a documentary right now, just finished watching, called The Black Godfather, with brother Clarence Avon. And then if Brother Sham, if you haven't seen it, it's going to wear you out. Wow. You got to see it. And then just as a quick shout out to you also, I know your boy DJ Easy Lee. You know DJ Easy Lee? Yeah. I'm two of his children's godfather. That's how. So I remember the evolution of hip hop, and he's still got the whole albums and everything. We need to have him on here too, brother. I think y'all.
Okay.
Yeah. He's been down for years.
Yeah, man. That's my guy. But anyway, the whole thing about that legal representation, also just reading and learning the verbiage. Go to the library. I encourage a lot of younger kids to go to Barnes and Noble, pay that $25 for that yearly membership, and use it like a library, and pick and choose which one of those books that you need after you get your little, cocoa or whatever over there at Starbucks that they have in there, and go in there, do that, do the research, and then get up out of there with the book that best fits what your needs are. You don't have to buy every book at Barnes and Noble. Not encouraging you to do that. And by buying a 25% membership, you also get a discount on your books. So those are things that, find the ways and means. Everybody thinks you're supposed to have a gazillion dollars in order to get started in this business. You saw how I got started. I volunteered at church.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And so, God has blessed me to be able to do what I do now. And now I'm trying to be Lord over my own stuff, because I'm shooting my own stuff. My 17-year-old.
Wow. Tell us about that.
I'm shooting I shot a piece called Armor Bearer, which basically is the equivalent in the Baptist side of things, or in the Pentecostal side of things, as what the Fruit of Islam is doing. And what it is that it's almost that person that is the person that holds, or it's like an executive assistant, if you will, to a pastor or a bishop or apostle or whatever. And what I'm doing with this particular piece is, no one ever checks on the armor bearer. The armor bearer is always someone that sacrifices his entire time
for that star person.
For that person. And so what it is that I'm doing a piece where it talks about the life of this brother, but not only that, it addresses PTSD. It addresses the issues that it may have on your marriage, and also the fight to not want to be in the limelight, and the selfishness of a person, that you have to have a servant's heart. And that's the one thing I can say about you, Brother John, is that you have a servant's heart. And that is a gift. And that is something that everyone doesn't have. But, that's what I strive to do when I go out, to have a servant's heart. And it's hard. It's hard sometimes without people too. But talk about that. You had to let your heart win over. But just read, find wise counsel, and find you legal representation on some of those contracts, because those contracts can be very tricky, and they're intended to be tricky, because it's hidden, just like the fine print on some of the products that you purchase. Right. On warranties. A warranty is a contract once you purchase that item that you want. So, those are things that you really have to look into, and then talk to people that have dealt with the people that you're dealing with.
Yeah. That's one of the things I was going to point out, because in the entertainment business, they have their own old boys network, whether film or music. And sometimes you have to be careful, because you got a reputable person. This is the same attorney that represents so-and-so. So you jump to it, not realizing that they have a different type of interest with whatever entity that you're negotiating with. So sometimes you end up being ushered into a situation because you're taking the advice of your counsel, not realizing that maybe that counsel doesn't always represent the best interest of
have your best interest at heart.
Yeah. So you have to, like you said, I think it's very important to have a way of checking the history of that particular attorney, and not just because that person represents so and so, I have a good name, but looking at their track record as in terms of how well they represent their clients and fight for their interests.
You know how sometimes they say you have to be careful of who that person is in bed with behind closed doors.
Right.
Because you don't know you have to screen your management. Your management might be in cahoots with the attorney, and they may be working a side deal. It's a very treacherous business. Very treacherous business. Everybody thinks you just pop up there, you're on stage, and there's nothing to get to that point. Because a lot of people are always asking, like, I want to meet Tyler Perry, or I want to be on the show with you, and stuff like that. And they think it's that easy and that simple. And I'll leave you this because I actually have another appointment. But
yes, sir.
Really, I love being on here. I promise you I do. But
we thank you.
What in the world just happened? Okay, so what that threw me off. But
you pay your cell phone bill?
No. A call came through. But no, what happens is that you have to be able to watch where the money trail is. And usually that's when you'll see the deceit along the way sometimes. So if you follow the money trail, you'll find out all the people that are involved in what it is that you're trying to do. And that's not just with the music or TV and film industry, but that's also with just business in general.
Right.
And then we always have to do exceedingly and abundantly above what's expected of us in this business. And what happens is, and then that's sometimes even with our own people, in order for us just to be considered on the same level playing field. And we always got to give up something. We always got to do this. And then when we fight against not just getting raped by the industry, then they call you a diva.
Look at that. Right. Yeah.
So you just have to.
Or another word, diva is the nice word. For women, it's the B word.
Right.
When they're fighting for their integrity.
I don't even understand why that word has even become so fluid, even amongst sisters, to call each other that. I was never thought I'd seen the day when you're actually trying to promote yourself as the baddest bee. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I can get all off into the slave trade, which originally was sex trade, which basically that's the only thing is they wanted our women for one thing. Right. You can look at on TV
the black
right
woman
now,
is the prize. The black
really
woman
is. Have you ever even noticed that the continent of Africa looks like a black woman with her hair up in a bun?
Come on now.
That's one thing.
Look at how you have your head wrapped right now.
Yes.
Look at the continent of Africa. Because you are the mother of Earth.
That's right.
That's right.
No
doubt.
That's
why you're the most persecuted. That's why you're the most sought after. That's why you're the most imitated. But then, we have the sisters now that are just wearing all this excessive weave and things like that. And I'm like, why are you trying to emulate the very person that hates you?
Right.
So
lack of self-knowledge and self-love.
Yep. So I'm gonna get off
brother
of that
minister.
One.
All right, brother minister.
Whatever, man.
Well, look, we thank you,
Brother Palmer. Before you go, you mentioned something earlier on. You said grind plus
hustle.
Is Russell?
Yes, ma'am.
We are USSLE.
Don't worry about the spelling because you ain't finna copyright that before I do.
No, I'm gonna make it noted that you said it. We have a sister Anissa. She is our social media director.
Okay.
She writes for the Final Call. Has been writing for the Final Call since she was 15 years old.
Wow.
Also, she is also a college student in her junior year. She graduated high school number 4 out of over 700 students.
Wow.
She's absolutely phenomenal. So some of the questions I ask is just so that the tweets come out.
Which school is she in?
She's at Mercer now, down in Macon, studying journalism.
Wonderful. I think my neighbor's kid is at Mercer, and he's on the soccer team. He just completed his first year, and he's on the farm team for Atlanta United. Black kid.
Oh wow! Okay.
All right. His father is the head stylist for The Walking Dead.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So he stayed busy then.
Oh yeah, I always tease him. I say, "Hey, new neighbor," when he comes home. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Brother Palmer. We have tremendously enjoyed you.
Always.
So Palmer,
always.
how do the business scientists get in contact with you? They want to follow what you got going on, hire
Williams
you
Jr.
to come out. He's a phenomenal MC, as you can tell. He will have your audience in stitches and teaching them all at the same time. I only require 10%, Palmer. Okay, so
wow.
how do they get in contact?
Oh wow. You see how that goes, brother? You see, Brother Sam? You see, Brother Sam? You see, Brother Sam? I ain't signed now contract.
And he already got you for
if you real deep cut, you don't know. Hey, you don't know nothing about this in the Bronx or Brooklyn or anything. Look, ain't signed L contract.
Now, look, I'm from the country. I'm from the South too. Jackson, Mississippi. So ain't signed now contract. So
see, hey, yeah,
get your vernacular right. Ain't signed
hey.
now.
You know it was sad when one of the biggest hits one year was "You Don't Know Now."
You don't know now. You don't know
ain't
now.
that something? Ain't that something? But yeah, I definitely PalmerWilliamsJr.com is my my website, but you also can email me through that, as well as Palmer Williams J on Instagram and Twitter, and then Palmer Williams Jr. on Facebook and the official fan page of Palmer Williams Jr. And it's so funny because people ask me, "Can you drop somebody so that I can be your friend?" I said, "I don't think I want you as a friend. You want me to drop somebody to be your friend."
We ain't gonna talk about.
In case you have some friends that are not really friends.
Oh.
And that's another thing too. When do we have to have so many friends to feel validated?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
And this whole thing, this whole mindset of getting it done, even with these video games with these young men, it's twisting their brains up. They can't even pay attention in school. Grades are dropping. It's just another form of trying to incarcerate, because once you incarcerate the mind, the body will follow. So
that's right.
Here it is now. If I can distract you and keep you from getting high ACT, SAT scores, then I can keep you out of college. I can keep you out of higher learning. I can keep you out of a whole lot of things. And then necessarily college is always for everybody. But at the same time, if you have the aptitude and the attitude and the ability to go, why not go? Learn their system so that the way you learn how to beat it.
Mm-hmm. Come on now. He's teaching.
Excellent.
Yes,
I know
indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, thank you, sir. You late for your next appointment?
Well, definitely. You see me trying to throw some grapes in my mouth while I'm working. So and you know how folks do. It's almost like when you talk to anybody of any religion or anything like that, you try to be on your best behavior. See, I done drank all kinds of tea and ate grapes and everything, because I was like,
yeah, see, the tea bag.
Now, sister, if you had seen me stuffing a Butterfinger, some Skittles in my mouth, you'd be like, "Oh no."
we would retract the bow tie.
My bow tie be all untied and everything. Y'all be blessed. I love y'all.
Thank you, brother. Love you too. Appreciate you so much. And we got to connect real soon.
Most definitely. Call me later.
All right, yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Good to meet you, Brother Palmer.
You too, Brother Shan. We need to do some work together. Network.
Yes, sir.
In that way.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
All right, brother. Most definitely.
Right here on Mind and Money Matters live show. Man, I told y'all it was gonna be phenomenal. I told you it's gonna be a very informative show. Brother Shams and I talk all the time about contracts and things like that, because he has a couple of projects in the works, and it's requiring to take second looks at these contracts, because there's people that are offering it does not have our best interests at heart, but they want the content. Content is truly king, brothers and sisters. We're doing this platform. We own the content. Our company, Master the Science of Business, owns this content by how we are bringing it out to you. So you have to own your content. You have to have control of your content, because was that Brother Shams was sharing with me about a brother who was that you sharing me about the brother who owns some archive.
Yeah.
And it was the B-roll of stuff that you would have disregarded. He wouldn't even thought twice about it. But he had the foresight. He owns that. Now here, 20 years later, these organizations are looking for this footage, and they have to go through him in order to get the footage, and they have to pay him handsomely for that. So own your content. That's another business tip that we want to give everybody. So, Brother Shams, as we close out, what do you have coming up that you want to share right now? How can those that are listening get in contact with you? You know, let me say this real quick. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Sister Sandy, but Brother Shams and I was at the mosque a few weeks ago, about a month or so ago, and it's out of New York, so there was some brothers there that's from New York. They looked at, oh, Brother Shams from the Bronx.
Wow.
So he was like a celebrity. Yeah.
Well, based on that conversation that we had, that time I was on the line with you all last night, I mean, Brother Sham has some powerful jewels to share, and a lot of it didn't come out in this broadcast. However, Brother Shams, you have an open invitation with us to please come and share a lot of those jewels that you've been able to witness throughout the years. And a lot of these young, I'm gonna use this, I feel like I can use it, I'm gonna say a lot of these young cats, that's what I'm gonna say, they need to be in one of your 101 how to properly handle yourself in that arena.
Right.
They got a lot to learn, brother, and they don't know. And unfortunately, their eyes and nose be so wide open when they get that first, I know, that first 100,000 that dwindle down to like $5,000 in their pocket. They don't know what they're doing. And it would just be so beautiful if some type of way, Brother Jahi, we can network and maybe do a 101 series, make it a part of our university, Brother Shams.
That's what I was thinking. Right.
Yeah, make that a 101, and at least we have material that's available. Whoever want to make themselves avail themselves to it. So I appreciate the wisdom you share with us, and so looking forward to you. Yeah,
he'll be back in a couple of weeks with Paradise Gray from X-Clan and Raheem from Furious 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
so
will he be our co-host when we do that, brother? Can we have him as our co-host so he can pull that information out that we need to? My God, that is awesome. That's awesome.
And then we're gonna look at putting them on the MSB University platform to talk about the entertainment business 101.
Wow.
101, the things that we need. If you're interested in going into the entertainment business, no matter what level, the basics that you need to understand way before you sign any contract. You're honing your craft, but what are some of the things you need to understand before that offer is made to you? And you know what you said, Sister Sandy, I thought about, and I want to encourage everyone listening to get a copy of Black Friday. Get a copy of Black Friday. It's the documentary by Rick Mathis. He has Black Friday, the Remix, and Black Friday Part 2. But Black Friday, the brother Jacob, who was he, a producer or manager for Foxy Brown?
Jacob York, that is?
What's that?
Is that Jacob York?
I think so. He's the brother in the film, in the documentary Black Friday. He talks about making his first $1 million at the age of 18. And then he moves out to Jersey because that's where everybody was going. Bought him a big house out in Jersey. But he said a problem with that $1 million was it's not like it was coming every month. So he got $1 million, spent a whole bunch of money putting it down. He got $20,000 a month in expenses, but only bringing in $10,000 a month. So he said a year after he got that $1 million check, he was broke and homeless.
My God.
A year later, he was living on his brother's couch in Philadelphia. Now, what he did not know, he said his mother was trying to teach him, but he was too young and arrogant to listen. And so after sleeping on his brother's couch for a year, she finally told him that she had squirreled away some of his money and bought rental property for him. So he wasn't broke like he thought he was. he would have been had it not been for his mother squirreling away some of the money that he was blowing and putting it into an income producing
Can I say something real fast?
Sure.
Most of us that have, especially when money first started coming into hip hop, a lot of us, we were literally ushered into these type of situation where we made these choices. A lot of us we were told to get this type of manager, so we got the manager. The manager said, hey, listen, I'm gonna hook you up with a business manager. So a lot of us got a business manager.
Sister Sharien is shaking her head because we talk about that all the time. Yeah.
So they would tell us, look, I'm gonna sign for you to go get that condo in Jersey. Everybody moved to Jersey. And so a lot of us used to see each other. Hey, you know, we no longer live in the projects. So a lot of us also went through the situation where we had to start hiding the car because we couldn't pay the notes. We couldn't pay the notes.
I'm sorry, what was that, Sham? What happened? A lot of us went through what now? What was that?
We went through the experience of having to hide our cars.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we leased the car, but we couldn't pay the notes. And like he said, the thing was that at one point you're hot, the check is there, you're getting a few dollars, but there always come the part, the time when, okay, it's not coming like that. But now you have insurance, you have taxes, which a lot of people don't even pay. You have the car notes. You got so many different expenses, but the income is not equal to the same. These are just basic business things that all of us should know, but most of us don't know that. And the influx of cash at one time, it throws you off, especially when you have people that you think have your best interests in mind, who are literally guiding you. And this is coordinated because what it does from the perspective of a recording artist, what happens is you eat all that up and then you run right back to the company. And you say, yo, what's up with, I don't get no more checks. They say, well, look, you still owe us. Like, we were just helping you out. And, you know, you're still waiting for your second album. So you're saying, well, look, man, I don't want to go back to the projects. You know, right now, everybody think I'm a superstar. I can't go back to my mom's house. And you didn't even move your moms out the projects, you know. So what happens is now they sit you down. They say, look, we can make all this go away. We're gonna give you owe about $100,000 to us. You probably got about $100,000 in bills. We're gonna give you $300,000. So you can pay all that off. You can be back in play, flossing with the $100,000, go get you a new chain. And all we ask is that you give us the other 50% of your publishing that we don't own.
Oh, Lord.
That's set up to begin with.
That's how you lose your publishing. Wow.
And you lose the publishing. And so now 10, 20 years later, when I'm asking artists, hey, I'm doing a documentary, let's use the song. And they made the song and they're telling me, Sham,
they don't own it.
I don't even own it. I'm like, wait a minute, but you're one of the princes. I sold it to the company and they own it. You got to go to them. Wow. How do you contact them? They don't answer my calls no more. This guy lives in Beverly Hills. You know, wow. So what I'm saying, and this is very important when we're dealing with the contracts and negotiations, setting up the businesses, no matter what level, whatever business, entertainment, film, whatever, you have to understand that the industry is set up to put us in these type of situations. And they set it up where what they do from the outset, the minute you sign that contract, is they're setting it up so that they can establish generational wealth for their family. If you study most of the principles that we don't even know of, these principles, their children are now inheriting the industries that they stole and the content that they robbed us for. They continue in the same tradition. So when you see the artists of today that we think are super successful, because they're all going to the Gucci store, they're all getting the Bugattis or whatever the case is. These artists are falling for the exact same thing that we
over and over and over again. And
well, I gotta ask this question, Brother Sham. I gotta ask this question since we on this topic and we're talking dollars and numbers and rapping and artists and everything. So we just heard on the news in the industry that Jay-Z is the first billionaire rapper, the first billionaire rapper. What does that mean? Because me as a layperson, my head get like, wow, he's the first, but it may not mean what I think it means, you know? So what does that mean?
Well, from my perspective, you know, and me and Brother Jahi was talking about that. When they come up with these lists and these figures and stuff, it's a guesstimate more than anything else, because some of this stuff is his private information. He doesn't have a public company. So they have to just go what's in the public record to try and determine, you know, where his worth might be based on the assets that he has in the brand. So, when, you know, if you see the breakdown, they're clear. They're like, well, this brand is worth about this much currently based on their figures or their earnings or whatever the case is, whatever information they could get. So when they tallied all that up, they're saying, you know what? Jay-Z as a business entity, his business entity is worth about $1 billion. He has $1 billion in assets, which it could be more or less. Now, from the perspective of hip hop, I gotta say this: most of us that I know from my contemporaries, most of us pioneers in hip hop, we really applaud that. We really feel a sense of accomplishment because we remember when there was really no money involved. You know, we didn't make all of that money. We didn't do it. We didn't even do it for the money. So to see that the culture has grown to the extent that it has, we always say that we've produced more millionaires than the civil rights movement.
Wow.
We've changed more lives. It comes up out of gang culture. And so we've seen directly, and I'm a product of that, of how hip hop, the culture of it, has literally gotten us off of the street, have improved our lives and stuff like that. So when you take somebody like Jay-Z, somebody who comes from where we come from, comes from the hood, he's from the projects, he sold drugs, sold crack, shot his uncle, all types of stuff. You know, this guy, he lived that same life, but he was able to transform and do such great things. It's not even about the dollar amount as much as it is about the example that he set and saying that you don't have to stay in the same place. You can rise up. He's basic. I'm 50 years old. I turned 50 today.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
And so he's maybe I believe Jay is 49 right now. So, but he's showing that you can age in this culture and you can grow in this culture and you can create generational wealth at the same time. One of the things that we need to study is how he's able to do it without totally compromising his principles and work within their structure, but in a way that pardon me. Do y'all hear that?
Yes, sir. They're looking for you.
Shut that down. I don't even know it. Okay.
Sound like an alarm. Prayer time.
So it is 8:01. But the question that I have is because we are over 50.
Yes.
Okay. And as your birthday is today, mine was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get this information to our young people, you know, because as we know, Nicki Minaj replaced Lil Kim, right? Cardi B replaced Nicki Minaj. And at the end of their day, it ends up being I'm broke.
Yes.
Right? So how can we get that message to the new baby that's coming in and don't know that this is what's going to happen?
Well, let me say this. I'm so glad.
And go for the stars and then end up in that situation where they feel like they have to sell their rights to their publishing or, you know, what have you.
Well, I'm gonna say I'm so glad you said that, and I may be posing a question to all three of you. Your show has all of the right information. it's not just about performing. It's not just in the context of entertainment. Every artist needs to look at themselves as a business, but most of us are not doing that. And even though we see the example of Nipsey Hussle, it's easier to watch and praise it, but it's harder to actually put that into motion, especially when you haven't created an infrastructure that allows for that. So we know the minister has the ears of so many of these people, but if I asked you, do you think that these young people from say Nicki Minaj, if we go in the corner, we go in the bluff, do you think that they tune into this show?
No.
That's where we have a problem. We have to make sure that the message and the platforms that we are using to dispense the information are done in a way where it reaches the people who need it most. What I'm telling you, you already know. What you're gonna tell me, I already know. But we have to, and that's great for us to build together, but we're not really in it for ourselves. We're in it for the Nicki Minaj's, and because those are our children at the same time.
That's right.
We have to be able to sit down and pattern out or create the infrastructures and the different things that sort of, we're not going to compromise ourselves and get in their world, but we have to make it to where our world is attractive to them and they see that. So let me just say this. With my film, I have a film that's based on a story that everyone wants. It's called The Larry David Story. So in the industry, there are people that are from the hood or whatever the case is. They're attracted to the story because it's a story of a guy who shot 6 out of 30 New York City police officers, escaped unharmed, led the country on one of the biggest manhunts. So yeah, they see the document, they hear the story, they love it. What I'm doing from the business perspective, knowing that they're attracted to it, is I myself has taken the initiative to say, I'm not going to settle for what we call, in part of my expression, the nigga deal. I'm not going to go into the game as a sharecropper. Now, I don't broadcast this all over the place, but I have the conversation. I come on the show and I talk about it. I go in the hood and I talk about it. I create forums and I don't preach to the choir. I bring them young people out. If I got to go get one of them to attract the rest of them, but we come in and I blend the thing in a way that I know they're going to take this message and say, yeah, yo, wow. And then, you know, they didn't come for that, but they're going to get it. You know, and because what we're saying is good. What we're saying, they need it. You know, I don't watch this show and don't get anything from it. I always say, wow, everybody need it. Like all of the young people need this information. We just have to go, we have to use these same tools and not preach to the choir, but we gotta go out there. We gotta make it attractive. So sometimes you gotta have them on the show. Sometimes you got to market in their marketplace or to their demos and use the same tools that they use.
Fantastic.
You know, I create events where I bring the young and the old together. I'll have a cool DJ Red Alert, a Ralph McDaniels, bring the entertainment and the knowledge, but I make the young people the stars of the show. I let them shine. I let them be the entrepreneurs. I let them be the face. I step back. You're going to know me, but I'm not doing it to be seen. But you're gonna know me. I'm gonna be in my OG status or whatever they want to call it. But at the same time, by me involving them, I get them more receptive to hear what I got to say.
That's right.
You know, and
that's so, right.
You know, we got more work to do, but we doing the right thing. You see, the minister can have that conversation with any one of them. And now it's creating a wave. It's been creating a wave, but it's like the season is here for it. There was a time when I was talking, I want residuals. I want executive producer. I want to say, and they looking at me like, get this nigga out. There's a million stories like that. We don't need that. We don't, who he thinks he is. But that has changed. I've held out, and now they're starting to come to me saying, you know what? What do we need to do to make this happen? Oh, that's not a problem. Let's do that. And if I pull it off, then I can go and broadcast. Hey, you don't have to compromise. You don't have to give up your dream. You don't have to sell out for peanuts. You don't have to be a chicken when you know you're an eagle.
My God. Is that something that you would call learning how to delay instant gratification? That's what I'm hearing you say. That's exactly what I'm hearing you say. So often we want that instant gratification, which brings us nothing. but instant fame. And that instant fame burns out in about 5 seconds. So teaching our children how to delay gratification sometimes. You ain't got to have the dessert right now. Just wait on it. Like I tell my children, wait on it, wait on it, wait on it. Okay, now move.
Right.
You know, so that's what I hear you saying, and it's so beautiful. You know, the way
it is. Absolutely.
it's like, wow, this is phenomenal. You're absolutely correct, Brother Shams. Us speaking the language of the people. One of the things that came to me as we were listening to you yesterday and today is, I think what's happening with our show is we're creating intellectual property, and the intellectual property may not be seen right here at this exact moment because we're still building the momentum, we're building the force behind it, we're building the attention behind it. By the time they look our way, we done said what we needed to say. You go where you need to go and get it, and we're not off doing something totally different. So
great analogy, Sister Sandy.
You're so correct, and I believe that's the vision that I saw as I was listening to you. And we're not gonna sell out. When they come to us, they're gonna see the intellectual. And I'm so grateful to Sister Sharien, because brother, we got a brother that's been a YouTube. I mean, he became huge, and just like in a split second, lost all of his intellectual property. I'm so grateful to Sister Sharien that all of our stuff is backed up. So you see us here and you see us there, but it's backed up. And so we have, I'm just so grateful for that. That intellectual property ain't no joke. And you shared with us some, some information about rappers who, are considered like the godfathers of rap, and they're in situations where they can barely even pay, just menial living expenses. That intellectual property, that intellectual property, my God, delaying gratification, hold on to your stuff, hold on to your stuff, hold on to your property, believe that what you have is valuable. They may not see it right now. Like you said, Brother Sham, you just held on. Like, look, it's good. I can't go nowhere from where I'm at. So why not just hold on to it? Ain't no other way but up. So thank you so much. All right, I'm off my soapbox.
No.
Great, Sister Sandy.
If y'all don't mind me saying something else. We have to, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in Message to Black Man, what was the quote where he said, study the white or observe the operations of the white?
That's the theme of our show, Brother Shams. It's on page 174. Page 174.
Everybody forgets that. They say, oh, the white man, the devil, the white man, this, the white man.
Sister Sharien. Hey, Brother Shams. So for the first 3 years of this platform, she repeated that every show for the first 3 years. But it's page 174. That's what this platform is built off of. Page 174. That's point number 4. Study the white man.
So when you
look at he is successful and make no excuse, it works together in a collective manner and make no excuses for his failure. Right.
So if we're doing that, we got to look at it.
The white man.
Yeah, so if we're doing that, then we got to understand that they're operating on a whole different level, utilizing the technology and finding ways to deal with the like y'all dealing with the science of business, the science of commerce. So it's a science to this. And they've mastered that science. We have to watch what they're doing and then find ways to duplicate that within our demos and build out from there, scale up from there. And
that's right.
What you're doing,
that's right.
The difference with us is we have that knowledge, we have that wisdom, and we have an audience that needs it. Like, we know what they need. We just got to use all of those same business principles that we all know in order to get to them so that they get it. But we also have to build infrastructures. One of the main problems we have at the end of the day is finance. We're gonna say unity, then finance. Because a lot of the reason why we all sell out is because we don't have money. And when somebody comes waving that carrot on the stick, it's almost impossible to resist. I'm in my mother's bedroom in the projects where everybody's dying, getting killed, and somebody's offering me $50,000 that can change my life. I'm taking the $50,000. And it's very hard to resist that under those circumstances. So where's the infrastructure? Where's the investment groups, the banks? Where's these things that we have that we can say, let's bankroll this? You know, the people have ideas, they have fashion lines. It's not just entertainment. There are great entrepreneurs among us that we don't even have a pool of money to invest in them and say, look, we're gonna do this the right way and you're gonna own your stuff. There's a company called Cobalt. Observe the operations of the white man. It's a distributing platform for music. It's actually the biggest one. Most people don't know it, but artists like Currency, Chance the Rapper, all of them use it. That's what gets their music to the marketplace. So when we look at them, we say, yeah, they independent, they own this, they own that, but they're in partnership with this company called Cobalt. And Cobalt's major thing is, you know, we're gonna do this a little different. Y'all can get with us. We have the infrastructure. We'll distribute it to the YouTubes and all these different places. And the difference between us and signing with the record company is we don't even want to own your stuff. You can still own it. So everybody said, oh my goodness, yeah, we'll do this. See, everybody don't know about this. So they get with Cobalt, and Cobalt created a different business model that's a little more equitable. Why we don't have that?
Dang.
Why we don't have that?
And on that note,
mechanism that distributes the music and to different digital platforms.
Right.
But they created a business behind it.
Mentioned, brother Shams, is unity. And unity is the biggest issue.
Yes.
Even though we can point to some other issues that may seem to be like little bombs, but the atomic bomb, that nuclear weapon, is unity. So what you mentioned about what happens to the young artist when he comes in, and that's edutainment, period. Whether you are a rap artist or athlete, it doesn't matter. If you are a lottery winner, you win that lottery at your check day, you're going to get introduced to the whole clan who is all together. They're going to help you get a house. They're going to help you buy your cars. They're going to help you get a bank. They're going to help you get a lawyer. They're going to help you get an accountant. They're all together as one unified front helping you do everything. So now you done bought this house that's $20 million and nobody wants to buy it from you, not even for $1 million. So you already off the rip done lost a whole ton of money buying something from somebody who can't stand you and looking forward to the day of your demise. So each and every time, it's the unity. And if we, as Sister Sandy said, delay immediate gratification, like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, stop the wanton criticism of everything that is Black owned. Let's get together, unite, put our dimes, nickels, and pennies together, our resources and our mind. Let's stop just speaking the word.
That's right.
No, you know, we have to be more than just knowledge. We have to be knowledge able.
That's right.
Putting knowledge to work for us. And that will do it. If we just take this book, Message to the Black Man, and implement it. If every last one of us did that, how about if only 5% of us did it?
That's right.
There's many of us who call ourselves 5%ers. But of that 5%, only 5% of the 5% is implemented. We have to implement this book, the entire 5%. We can't have an 85er within the 5%.
That's right.
You understand that? Just know it, can articulate, can recite it, but are we doing it?
Are we doing it?
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, number one is pool your resources. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad on page 70 says, we must stop relying on the white man. So although we are to observe him,
that's right.
When you have to go to him for your food, you're relying. So we have to do it out. Have Miss Mill cramps.
That's right.
Figure it out. Like Nipsey Hussle said, he went from being the king of the streets to like not being nobody.
Yeah.
And he had to get used to that. He had to get used to from being the man to now not having. The messenger says, he says, we must stop relying upon the white man to care for us. We must become an independent people. So-called Negroes should, number one, separate yourselves from the slave master. Number two, pool your resources, education, and qualifications for independence. Number three, stop forcing yourselves into places where you are not wanted. Right? You ain't sitting at no counter begging nobody to feed us. They don't want to feed us. We don't have to eat there because we go eat there. Now they have restaurants and hotels and everything else, and we have nothing, and we wonder why the black business is suffering. Because we forgot to make the sacrifice so that the black business can stand up. Make your own neighborhood a decent place to live. The 10,000 feelings. Make your own neighborhood a safe and decent place to live. Rid yourselves of the lust of wine and drink, and learn to love self and your kind before loving others. We are suffering for the lack of knowledge. We are suffering because we are in need, or at least we are accepting the fact that we believe we are in need of some medication. Now we on pills? Really? We didn't take pills. Now we do. Now we doing pills because we letting somebody else. We switching when we ain't got no business switching. We wearing our pants hanging down with our behinds showing. It's absolutely insanity. Okay, he says, unite to create a future for yourself. Build your own homes, schools, hospitals, and factories. Do not seek to mix your blood through racial integration. Stop buying expensive cars, fine clothes, and shoes before being able to live in a fine home. We got nice cars, we got nice shoes, all these things that's costing us hundreds of red bottoms. And where we sleeping at? On somebody's couch? On a pullout? Are we serious?
Yeah.
He says, do not seek to mix your blood. I read that. Stop buying expensive cars, read that. Spend your money among yourselves. 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 You get $1 billion. If your brother ain't got nothing that's worth $1 billion, then that means you can't spend it.
Yes.
Hold it. Okay? Buy that $5 item that your brother have and hold it so your brother can get something that's worth 1,000. Until then, hold your money. Right? Build an economic system among yourselves. We have black banks. Do we have money in it?
Yeah.
We have black banks. Do we have money in it? Not that we don't have black banks. And don't fall for the okie doke, but I'm going to read his, right? Number 12, last one. Protect your woman. A nation that does not protect the woman is not a nation. Period. A nation can rise no higher than its woman. This is out of message today.
Go ahead, Minister Sharien Muhammad on Mind Money Now. Coming to you live. Go ahead.
That's the foundation right there. He gave us everything in message to the black man. Everything. And all we gotta do.
This has been a most profound show.
And bring it to these young people.
All of y'all have been bringing the fire. Oh my
but what
God!
I heard you saying, and I thank Sister Sandy for the fact that we're building intellectual property. But what we must do on Mind and Money Matters live show is find our replacements in our youth and put them out front so that they will have the mic. And they will be able to, amongst our young people are we got some fiery young people. There's already fiery young people out there. So, who we are actually speaking to is the sidepreneur. We speaking to that person who's on the side, working a job, stealing away, and finding out a way to do something for themselves. Have been selling at the base, not been able to move beyond the base. So our mission is to help us move beyond the base. We have to move from 10 bean pies to 1,000 bean pies, to 100,000 bean pies. And we must do that by collecting our energies and putting it together. Mm-hmm. I write books, my sister writes books, another sister writes books. We work together. Now we are moving more product. Mm-hmm. If we stay as individuals, if I'm only in my room writing my books, selling 20 books at an event, I can't live off of the sale of 20 books. Yeah. It's impossible for me to live off of the sale of 20 books. Yeah. So I have to get my sister and my brother involved so that now it's 100 of us moving product, moving books, selling intellectual properties together, making toys, making clothing, apparel that reflect the characters in our books, and then getting our children behind it. This is what we have to do together. So inshallah, I am prayerful that what we have provided, those who have the opportunity to listen, those who have the opportunity to share, we actually working on putting these things in bite-sized chunks, because the other thing is the show is extremely long, and I know y'all like, look, I can't look at this for no 3-4 hours. I get it. So we have to chop it up into bite-sized pieces so that we can get the information and then move out on it. So inshallah, when I come back to you, I'll be at our brother's event in Macon and being able to make my word bond and showing and proving that the unity is stronger, more powerful than an atomic bomb. Brother Jahi, you want to close us out?
Let the church say amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Brother Sham, so much for that dynamic insight and perspective. And we're looking forward to having you back in a couple of weeks with our brother Paradise and with Brother Raheem and any of your other colleagues in the pioneers of hip hop. We'll be honored to host them on this platform. So brothers and sisters, business scientists, thank you all for tuning in. Please share, listen, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Mind and Money Matters live show. And yes, we are looking for the young people that would like to expand your platform. Please give us a call, 404-438-3156. You have a show idea. You would you need help going from the idea stage or the thought stage to the idea stage to the fruition stage. Please give us a call. As Sister Sharien said, that is our mission. Now, I'm going to close it out like this. Now, I was thinking about what I close out most of my presentations with this. It's a poem by Chika Aku, and I think it's so appropriate for what we've been talking about, what we're always talking about. And it goes like, it's titled Be. Be, brother, be who the Most High made you to be. Be, sister, be who the Creator created you to be. Remember that I am who I am, created you and me to be. If you and me would just be, then we can see reality. We can see reality. Be, brother, be, sister, just be. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam.
Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar.